In recent years, there has been a growing understanding that data, primarily personal information, is paid for services provided on the internet. Certainly, data, including personal information, can create value depending on how it is used, so it can be a form of compensation, just like money. But is data the only compensation when it comes to internet services? As is well known, the revenue source for many internet services, including social networking services, is advertising. Platformers, which are companies that provide internet services as advertising platforms, generate their revenue from advertising fees received from advertisers, which are companies that place advertisements. On the other hand, some of the users who see the advertisement on the internet services will then purchase the products of the advertisers. In other words, they pay compensation, money, for the product value of the products of the advertisers. And a part of that compensation is then paid by the advertisers to the platformers as advertising fees. So it can be said that the compensation that users who see an advertisement pay for the product value of products of the advertisers also includes compensation for the product value that users feel from the internet services, such as the convenience and fun. This is because, as we saw earlier, product value is the total value of a product in relation to other things. The product value of the products of advertisers, for which users who see the advertisements pay, is the total value of the product in relation to the internet services, which includes the value created by the recognition, for example, I'm sure this is the product I saw in an advertisement on the social networking services I use. Therefore, actually, it is more essential to think that the compensation for the internet services is not just data. Here, considering a platform to be a place, there are many different types of platforms, namely, places, that are accessed by a large number of people, or conversely, that access a large number of people have existed since ancient times. In the sense of places where a large number of people gather, there are so-called virtual platforms such as social networking services sites, whereas there are real platforms such as stadiums as well as religious places such as churches, temples, and shrines. Relatively new examples include concert halls and various other event venues. There, a lot of advertisements are often placed, and compensation for the product value of the platform is paid as part of the compensation for the advertised products. Also, in the sense of places where a large number of people come to shop, there are virtual platforms such as e-commerce sites and video streaming sites, and real platforms such as a department store. And the compensation for the product value of the platform is paid as part of the compensation for the products that are sold there. In contrast, in the sense of places to inform a large number of people, there are mass media such as television, radio, newspapers, and magazines are platforms that access a large number of people through providing information. There, a lot of advertisements are often placed, and compensation for the product value of the platform is paid as part of the compensation for the advertised products. Also, in the sense of places to reach a large number of people, there are smartphones. And the compensation for the product value of the platform is paid as part of the compensation for the apps that are sold and run there. If you find it difficult to understand that the compensation for the product value of platforms can sometimes be paid for other product value, try thinking of the platformer and the product providers as parts of a single company. If a single company creates its own platform and provides its own products there, it will not seem strange that compensation for the product value of the platform is paid for the product value of other products. In reality, it is good to think of it as just different companies happen to share the role.